Hi everyone, Avalon here. It's been a long time. I really want to thank all my new subscribers. Anybody that listens to me, I'm very grateful. I'm here to talk about a very controversial issue that if people are going to have issues and be perhaps triggered with post-traumatic stress disorder, I would really ask you to perhaps take a break. This is kind of some intense information that I feel I need to give to the public. The name of this video is called Narcissism and Our Society 2. I live in the States, better known as America. I do. Now I'm going to start off with a part 1, which is basically going to be a broad aspect of issues, so you guys can choose. And then I'm going to follow it up with a video, part 2, called What's Been Happening to Me, which is what I'm getting to. Alright, so narcissism basically is a personality disorder that a man, mainly, a woman who's by borderline personality disorder, can also have traits thereof on a narcissistic personality disorder. That means that they are so in fear of abandonment, they will do anything in their power to manipulate, connive, hurt, kill, destroy, isolate you, so that they're not abandoned, which means they had a sad childhood. Well, you know, my mother used to say to me about my father, who was quite awful, turned out really great though, that Daddy had a sad life. Well, you know what, I have a feeling that, for me anyway, and many of us, who hasn't had a sad life? I mean, but what you do with that sadness and what you do with that information is all based on how you get better and become a better person instead of staying a victim your whole life, correct? Let's get back into society. So, here's a newsflash for you. I'm going to tell you a bit of a story about what's happened to me. So, yeah, I live in a state that has the highest rate of prisoners in jail. Yeah, I do. And it's scary because, like, what I'm going through, which I'll get into part 2, is that I think some of those people might be innocent. Either way, I'm talking about we have an abuse situation, a narcissistic situation in society. What do I mean by that? Let's just go on a story such as mine. Okay, so, you know, I've worked with police officers my whole life as an RN. They've helped me so many times. So I'm out in the country in Texas in August of last year, dropping off a friend. Suddenly I hear banging on the car. I mean, it was freaking terrifying, because in those cases you think to yourself, is this a meth group, or who the hey is this in the dark in the country, right? Well, unfortunately, the person that was with me heard them say, "Police, you're on private property." At this time, I couldn't hear anything. I'll explain that in the next video. And so he unlocked his door. Well, basically, we have this thing we learned in Texas called, if a police officer comes up to us, we don't talk to them, and we ask them, am I being detained? Which means, am I free to go? If I'm not free to go, then I'm willing to cooperate with an attorney in the car, right? However, when this person opened the door of the car that night in August of last year, he opened my lock. Suddenly, I didn't even have time to ID. I hate to tell you guys this, it's going to be hard, so hold on. They threw me from the car as me, who has a disability, attempted to explain to them they were breaking my neck. And they threw me around the woods and bashed me against trees and, I mean, literally beat the crap out of me and wanted me to turn on my stomach to be arrested with handcuffs without my friend, who had been given a courtesy ride home, interestingly enough. And, so I wasn't going to turn on my stomach for my neck, but think of a female in the woods with 3 men holding her down, asking to be put on her stomach with another 17 men all around. That could have turned out kind of like worse. If I have to explain myself, please put it in the comments. So to my chagrin, I I'd never been arrested in my life. I was never ID'd. No one knew my name. I was from the back of the police officer car, and I finally get my voice back, and I go, "Excuse me, officers, what am I being arrested for?" "You're being arrested for resisting arrest." I'm thinking to myself, wait, that doesn't make sense. No one told me I was under arrest. Who? Did you even ID me? You didn't. You did a search. I didn't say you could do a search. I mean, probable cause. We smelled marijuana. Well, I'm like, what? But wait, that could have been anybody. I don't know. My son had the car. Whatever. I was beat up by 3 police officers. Come to find out that we're doing a training video. Let's not go into that training video. And then I was put into jail, where I was refused medical. I had an arm that was black. I was terrified, and it was a freezing cold cell. And as I run in there, there's 2 nice women in there, one black, one Hispanic, who worked for them, who was under arrest because she didn't pay a traffic ticket, but her 5 kids were home alone with her mom. Anyway, I chose to be a journalist in that situation and pretend so I could get through it, because, quite honestly, if, you're in the jungle and the lion's out smelling out for something to eat, they're going to go after the weak and the fearful. It's much easier, right? Well, so I didn't want to aggravate anyone, so I kept asking every hour or two, "Hey, could I please talk to my attorney? When do I get my phone call?" And the answer was, in a minute. Well, unfortunately, I learned that in a minute meant never. So, interestingly enough, on a Sunday morning, there I was. I had not been given any help. I'd been off my medications. I was very sick and so much pain. It was the weirdest thing I've ever been through, right? I was terrified. No one knew where I was. Even the girls in the little cell with me were saying, "That's weird. No one's in that, orange outfit unless they've been here 24 hours. And I was just imagining, being raped and beaten and dead in the back of the jail. Anyway, I digress. So then, I go in front of what they call the magistrate in the small counties where I belong. And the magistrate, reads you whatever the hay, and you've been in jail and you're in a lot of pain, especially in my condition. And, you'd probably sign away your left, 2 arms, to get out. And I'd always known that bond was going to be 10% of what the bond was. And for me, I had my debit card ready to go. So I get up to the guy who's the bondsman, thinking everything's normal, right? $8,000 bond? For a $1,250 bond? Apparently the man that opened the door for me on our 3rd date had paid this man $8,000. Huh. I got out of jail. So I said to him, because I didn't know what to do, "What should I do next?" He said, "Well, I think you need to go fix up the man that paid $8,000 for you." I'm going, that's rather odd. I was kind of thinking maybe what I need to do to get out of this problem jail, right? Well, it took about 2 more hours, and I was in such excruciating pain by then. I was really holding it together, and so I was sitting out there waiting, to be getting my stuff back, and all the men were coming to eat, and the jailsmen who'd not been helpful at all or helped me, given any help to me, and I heard a woman had died there 3 days earlier of a cardiac arrest diabetic attack, and so I'm sitting there. This is quick. I'm sitting there, traumatized, of course, in shock. And the man that's getting my stuff together is yelling my name across the jail. All men eating breakfast, my address, my phone number, everything. And I'm thinking, well, what if they're stalkers? What? That's dangerous. Let's just face it, the whole daggone thing was dangerous. I was not given any Miranda rights, which, by the way, you are supposed to be given those rights. You do have the right to remain silent. You do have the right to attorney, and a lot of things that were not given to me. And, quite frankly, I could have died in my health condition. I wish I was exaggerating, because what I'm saying to you is this. It's not over yet. No, the person that paid that bond, which, by the way, I think it's bond fraudsman, paid a $5,000 attorney who unfortunately knew those people and used to work there and has been like pushing me for plea. And I'm not guilty because they planted something on me that I didn't have. So how could I lie? That's called contempt and perjury. Wouldn't that be wrong in a court of law? No, we have a very serious problem of abuse of our corrupt judicial system. And that's what I'm here to tell you. Now, if you have anything to say or anything you want to put on the channel, please put it there. I've done all kinds of type research. I found a fail in a chain of custody. A chain of custody means you got, say, such and such evidence. Police officer starts with it, right? What if he plants something on you? That's supposed to be pristine to protect you from going to jail. They're all under a oath of office to do the right thing, such as me, a nurse. I'm not going to give you 50 milligrams of morphine. I could kill you. So I have a nurse go with me to waste, and we sign. But no, their chain of custody was broken. They had me down for being arrested, and a month earlier than the month I was arrested. And they had my chart filled with another person's case number for DWI, and it's a him. So, I'm not going to get a high voice. That means that I'm a bit upset because it's quite terrifying. However, I'm here to tell you this. I cannot perjure myself. I will not waive rights. I will not say I'm guilty of something I did not do. They're not happy with me. But again, I'm principle before personality. And this has me thinking. If the chain of custody's been broken, I show my attorney that and they say it's a typo. Literally, a typo. Oh, arrested in a different month is a typo. Signed by the assistant district attorney in that county. Right? That's not a typo. How many people got a typo that are in prison right now in Texas that are giving money to our state that are not guilty? Excuse me, I'm sorry, but I figured something out I probably shouldn't have seen. But I feel we all as American people need to realize these conspiracy theories we've been watching going, oh yeah, wow, that's interesting. Jesse Ventura, oh my goodness. Well, you know what? Unfortunately, I have to tell you this. It's sad. But I'm not the only one, and none of us are free. And we're in a real pickle because so many people have been apathetic and said yes when they meant no for fear. And they feel when they pay their attorney they're going to be represented, which unfortunately is not true. And so with that being said, that's my story of narcissism in our society. And then my next video will be based on more personal information. And thank you for your support. Thank you for my subscribers, and quite frankly, our American government, the governments of the world, have turned their backs on us and abandoned us and are not keeping us safe under the Patriot Act. I'm sorry. It's very sad. So I ask you to mourn and grieve the best you can, because this is a lot to take on. It's not just fiction. It's real. Anyway, peace on earth, goodwill towards all of us. And we need community. Be safe.